like when you are looking for more information or learning, what kind of resources or channels or podcast or what are you like listening and looking for when you are?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I do a lot of YouTube surfing. Like when I'm looking for just educational ideas, especially with Grasshopper, like there's so much good Grasshopper content on YouTube, like Parametric House, they're like really solid. I learned a lot from them. Their channel's great. Even some of the packages themselves, they have some really good content channels. Like Ladybug has some great tutorials that they actually made free during the pandemic on their website. And like there's a package called Wallacire, which is like a really powerful generative design tool. And they've got some really good tutorials. So I found like for computation, I typically just relied mostly on like the public domain. Like I used LinkedIn Learning for like a few months a while back, and it just wasn't for me. Like I felt I was a little bit beyond like the teaching style that I was being given there. There were some really good series though. Like for C# and Python and all that, that's probably the best place to go. But like I just taught myself Python through experimentation and going on forums and, you know, watching all my programs fail 100 times and then finally getting them to work. So in terms of Revit, like I taught myself, that was like pretty hard for about 3 years. I really just focused on playing with the tool at home with my own license and just experimenting, and that's how I learned to use it. I had a bit of project experience and a couple of mentors here and there that helped here and there, but a lot of it just came through like hard experimentation, just taking it home with me. I know people don't like to take work home, but sometimes it's the only way to catch up. And Navisworks I pretty much learned from my first project, so I was quite fortunate to have like some really good context to give to like learning that program. But yeah, otherwise I do just mostly just troll the internet and just see what I can find. I like to watch Autodesk University. They have some really good like sessions that they put online. So a lot of their presentations from the past and all the handouts they put online too. So I use those classes from time to time, and they're free as well, which is great. I do try to use free content where I can, just because I like the idea of open knowledge. And then if I like it, I can just pass it on to someone else, and they don't have to pay for it. They can just watch it too. Yeah, so that's sort of how I learn, and I find a lot of stuff through people on Twitter as well. Like I've been using Twitter for about a year now, and before that I never used Twitter, and I was surprised by the amount of content people were just linking on Twitter that was really relevant, especially for Dynamo. So that's been a good way to sort of just find new techniques and ideas.
Yeah, it's I think the social media, especially when it comes to the BIM, it has been like quite a resource bank itself. Like every day you just scroll and you see so much different good topics.
Yeah, I mean, it's like me too. I put all my stuff on LinkedIn now, so I guess I'm contributing to that now too. So yeah,
good.
It's good fun. Yeah. How about you? What do you tend to use for your learning?
Usually it's basically it's self-experiment, because the tools that I use, they don't have international presence. They are like local software, sadly. So that's bit of bad. And so it's like just calling to the colleagues who have used it and, hey, I have this problem, how I do that. And it's like a couple of times a day at the best to just asking for guidances. And I think it's at least in Finland it feels, because the Autodesk products are not so strong here. We are using local softwares on IFC and even like on construction and so on. And I think that's a bit of like, it's like a hidden knowledge of how to operate these softwares. And
it does get a bit like that,
yeah.
Where people don't want to share their workflows, and
yeah, that's why looking forward to
opportunity to share and teach maybe there too for you. Maybe like if other people need this knowledge, like maybe you could be the guru.
yeah. Like at the moment in the company, I have this kind of like ongoing education series for these softwares, and they will follow up steps, and then I will be reviewing their projects and giving their comments and so on. So it's awesome. Trying to scale it, but again, it's local. Though, like looking forward, I'm really hoping that they would come more international tools for BIM in construction, because it's right now it's very, very local, and I think that's big of like as you spoke earlier on the developers and how they utilize BIM. I think that's something like really what is a big struggle, especially during construction phase, that we don't have the tools and we don't have the information in internet. It's just the design and architecture they will have, but then like if you Google BIM, it's like 90% it's
Most
architecture
design,
and design.
Yeah,
So,
I've heard that as well. Even some of the tools that market themselves as like for everyone, like they're still very focused on the architecture. Like I know, like in ArchiCAD and even Revit, like the architecture tools are much more developed than any others. So I know what you mean. It can be quite challenging. Like you do get some tools that I guess are built for fabricators and contractors, sometimes like Tekla. But yeah, it's more rare to find them as heavily developed.
Tekla is more widespread than in Scandinavia. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite big here as well. A lot of fabricators use it in Australia too, so it's quite popular.
Then not all. I cancel my words. Not all softwares. We use Tekla structures a lot with
Oh, great!
IFC.
Yeah, it's a good tool. Yeah, I've tried it myself, and I can see like why people use it. It's quite a nice tool.
Great. Before we finish off, what kind of advice would you give for individuals who want to be successful in BIM? Last question.
I think, yeah, there's a lot of things, I guess, that I've sort of said that I'll just say like relate here as well. But I think like the main thing is just to be really curious, be aware of what's happening in the industry. If you want to be a part of it, there's a lot to learn and a lot to be aware of. Get involved on like social platforms. So really expose yourself to the industry. Don't expect everything to come to you, because like there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and some of it's being shared all over the place, and some of it's only being discussed in very small circles. So I think just being as aware as possible as you can be of what's happening and also what's coming will really help you better prepare yourself as a BIM specialist or a BIM guru or whatever title you have, or however you see yourself. That's really important. But also just to enjoy what you do, because you'll find that like you'll learn best when you're happy with what you're doing. Like, I mean, as a consultant, like I've probably been the most productive I've ever been in my career. And it's just because I am so satisfied with what I'm doing at the moment. And whilst I was satisfied with what I was doing before, it's a different sort of enjoyment, I guess, because now I'm also enjoying the business side of it. And there's a lot of aspects that come in, and it just makes the journey a lot more fun and rewarding, I think. So I think, yeah, just enjoy what you do and be mindful of everything around you. I think are probably the two most generic pieces of advice I can find that hopefully relate to most types of professionals in the industry.